that please do not, saying, as we always say, that we should not punish good behavior by rewarding bad behavior. When a webinar is at 2 o'clock, we must all start working in at around 5 to 2, so that we can start at 2. By the time we need to finish at 3:30, we've taken exactly 9 minutes and people are able to start driving. My name is Ivan Penyane. I'm the chairperson of the Drone Council of South Africa. Mine is just to give opening remarks and just make a few comments, and then we'll let to the team that's running the program. Today's a conversation. It's not presentations only, but it's a start of conversations. We will be having what is called Drone Wednesdays until mid-December. And we're not expecting big groups. We have those that are interested, those who want to have information, to join us. It's a pity some people are writing exams and it's the end of the year, people are busy, but it's also good that you start conversations with a smaller crowd and you can really engage. You can be in touch with us on our various pages, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, the Twitter page, and also on the YouTube platform. A lot of discussions happen there, and you can be in touch with us. I must say that if you lose me or I lose you, is because I am also load shedding but operating from another platform. I'll kick off now. Welcome everybody. Welcome ladies and gentlemen. There is about 3 presentations that are exciting, and we urge everybody to participate. Ground rules: please mute yourself, mute your face, or mute your video, mute your audio. If your audio is problematic, you will be sent to the waiting room to just sort yourself out, and you can come back. In the interest of a network for other people, please, let's avoid having our videos on, except if a speaker wants to introduce themselves properly and they can just show their face and then proceed. As I said, that I'll just be giving few remarks. I'll start now and I will take off my video. The conversations that we are having. Sure, thank you. We have been talking about Operation Catch Up 2023. That is Operation Catch Up for the drone industry since 2020. And you will see by the end of this presentation, we'll have as a subtext, we'll have spoken about 3 horizons of South Africa's drone futures. We will not necessarily tell you what those 3 horizons are, but you are going to be engaging. But today's session, whilst it is focused on drone futures, we decided that you cannot talk about an emerging technology called drones without understanding the entire framework of emerging technologies. We have got young people who will be talking to us about emerging technology futures and the technologies of 2025 and how they're going to disrupt our lives. But we must ground it back and say, whilst drones are one of the many technologies, there's 50 or so emerging technologies, but we are looking at those that are shaking us. So they will be talking, they'll take us quickly into the past about what has happened, about what emerging technologies are defined, what they've been, and what is the future of the next 3 to 4 years old. By the way, if you want to complicate the concept of emerging technologies, as they will be explaining, when I always give an example that when you used to, many years ago, if you owned a horse, you were very proud that you had a horse and yours was to just feed the horse and that you used it for your to carry cargo and to carry passengers. When vehicles came, those that were owning horses were saying, who is this guy who thinks you can put this thing that cannot go in the mountains? And the initial vehicles, the wheels were were a triangle because they did not invent brakes. So the vehicle itself was an emerging technology. When they finally invented brakes, the brakes were a new technology, etc. When trains came, they became an emerging technology. And it was like, who are you who think you can just have this thing that's on a railway line that will not be able to go to roads and so on? People were doubtful. But later on, then you had some 110 years ago or so, you had aeroplanes coming and nobody believed that they would be. So you will listen today, you will understand that in the past 2 centuries, they've always been exciting emerging technologies, and they were always doubting Thomas's, the issues about technology adoption. So why are we starting this? We said, yes, as we've been busy the past 3 years, say since 2018, actively organizing the industry, and then 2020 launched. We are taking the dialogues, and we say, and our mantra is, if you want to change the narrative of what is to be, of what needs to happen, if you want to change the narrative, please change the dialogue. We organize and disrupt. And where we stand, we are comfortably saying, when we look at Africa and we're saying the movements that are like ours are riding the wave of the digital revolution in Africa. And it is our intention to be amongst those that are disrupting Africa positively. And I guess that those that are here today are disrupting revolutionaries, or they are digital revolutionaries. And that we should be able to think about that. By the way, what is said, ladies and gentlemen, if you do your own statistics, is that if you look at the statistics that are showing the highest number of internet users in the world, the country that has the highest number of internet and social media per person per day, it is South Africa. But if you look at the content of what South Africans do, it's a shame. It's a shame they spend most of their lives on social media and or the internet, but the kind of things that we're discussing, it is many business schools are discussing that. Therefore, let us not take being on social media and gossiping and looking and watching other uncalled for things and then think that it is a digital revolution, but we should be saying, how best can we use these spaces that we have? Disrupting Africa, riding the wave of the digital revolution, it's what we, as the Drone Council South Africa, we want to play our 2-cent role in it. 2020, the World Economic Forum took one step further, talking about the top 10 emerging technologies of 2020. And they followed up with another one, the top 50 emerging technologies of 2025. And we're getting right, we're getting exactly that in South Africa and say, how backwards are we with respect to emerging technologies? And I will say at the end of this presentation, you will feel that you will get a sense that we are far, far, far backwards. We have the spaces, we've got all the research institutions at our disposal. We have the time to engage with technologies, but we are backwards. We are forward in our minds, we're only lying to ourselves, but we are backwards, and they will be articulating that to us. Therefore, we are saying, if you want to change the narrative of what has got to be done, we've got to change the dialogues and say, how do we have communities of emerging technologies emerging themselves, and not be negative, not always be complaining, but seriously growing the economy through the digital revolution. So already these are discussions happening at the level of the World Economic Forum. We, as the Drone Council, we say be a disruptor lobbyist, because if you do not become a disruptor, you will be disrupted. The digital revolution is like that, that you are either a disruptor and you move forward and you disrupt others, or you will be disrupted. I just gave example. The guys that used to own horses were skeptical when cars came and they were disrupted. Those that had cars and when trains came, they could no longer be the rich guys who were carrying cargo around, and they were disrupted. Those that started trains when aviation came, they were disrupted, etc., etc. We all know the story of Kodak. They started the technology. They were having ideas around smart cameras, but they did not take it further, and they were disrupted and they shut down. Therefore, the digital revolution is what we should be simplifying it. Let us not complicate it. As I close, I say today's purpose is to say, as they will be talking broadly about emerging technologies, we must understand how technology adoption is like and how many countries make mistakes or don't make mistakes, or how many companies do or do not do. You either take the Horizon Tree, which is the voice of the visionary, radical transformation of technology in this space. You create a vision that pulls everybody forward, and you put resources to it, you run with it, you are successful, you become a Dubai, because you put the vision, you stop talk. You stop Istamto, you just go and you do it. Or you are like South Africa that thinks on white papers and strategic documents. We think on the green, on Horizon 3, and we complain that 8 years we have not moved. We passed the resolution. Sorry, we passed the regulations of drones in 2015, and then we went. We have them there. They are beautiful. We have all the thoughts. We're the first country to pass regulations, but 7-8 years later, our thinking is on the green, which is Horizon 1. Is the voice of the manager. Oh, no, don't rush us. Just maintain the status quo. We will be there. Picky Mark Meir. There is no hurry in South Africa. We want to seek order, we want to seek predictability, we want to seek comfort. We debate. Those that stole the IP from us, they have moved very far. So it's either we stay on the red and your emerging technology ideas die. In this instance, drone futures die. By the way, what the green one, you'll see the few slides now. If you take the thinking of countries that are thinking H3, really have a drone vision. Drone is what is called drone futures, and we tend to behave on the green one. The blue one, the Horizon H2, is a mediator between the two, and we find it difficult to do that as a country, and these are the challenges. And as an industry, we are lobbying our partners and stakeholders that at least let us get to the Horizon 2 thinking in the industries where we are. So why are we talking about emerging technologies beyond drone? Is because context matters. I repeat, context matters. This was, I was making a presentation sometimes in 2020 during lockdown. As I was just about to go to the stage in November, it was the following day, on November 16, there was this article that Air Canada cargo have embraced drone delivery as a growth area. And they had just taken a decision because they did not want to be disrupted. They say, instead of us complaining about drones, we want to include drones on the last mile. So we will continue as Air Canada Cargo, but we will then also have a subsidiary that looks at drones. That is what a disruptor does. They have changed the narrative and the kind of dialogues that they are having. This slide, sorry. If it does not come, I will just close. If you look at the H3 drone futures, which I'll show maybe at the end, the companies like Amazon, Google, Samsung, etc., are engaging on the issues of drone futures and looking at how our world will be like. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's presentation will be run by Mr. Sanele Gubega, the various presentations. It's young people who are with us, who are saying, you people are talking. We want to embrace the conversation. So what we're going to do, they will present, but in the middle of their presentation, we'll start a conversation. And I will prefer that I stop here for now and say, if you do not be a disruptor lobbyist, or you will be disrupted. And I guess that we all understand the importance of us looking at imaging technologies as a necessary evil, as a necessary disruptor. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the world of disruptors. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a community of disruptors. I will stop here. Mr. Sanele Gubega, you'll take it from there and talk to us about, get the team to tell us about where we come from and where we're going to, and let's have a conversation. I will come back when we get to the debates. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Just a heads up, can anyone see my slide on your side?
It's not yet appearing on my side, Mr. Kupega. Yes.
Anyone
Yes.
are winning?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes, but can you put them on a slide mode, please?
I've already done that. I'm not sure that's not doing it on your side.
It's not, sir.
Okay, let me start again. Is it working now?
Yes, it's working. I can see it on my side.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to everyone who has embraced our first webinar on emerging technology. This is just the start, as we'll be hosting quite a various of webinars, not just webinars, but conversations that will lead to decisions. As the chair has said, my name is Sanele Gubega, part of the Drone Council Interns. The presentation that you will hear today, or the conversation that we'll be having, it's not a new conversation, but it's a conversation that now starts to make a particular direction in people being able to take business decisions, better business decisions as a result of these technologies that we'll be talking about. We'll be having 4 presenters that will cover the following topics. Ms. Vuyela Cembi will be talking about digital transformation. What is digital transformation? What is digitalization? What is digitization, and what's the contrast? And why is it important, especially for the emerging technology and the world that we are trying, or the economy that we are trying to sort of venture into as a country or as various individuals in the drone economy. Ms. Bongeka Msibi will cover the emerging technologies that have reached 50 million users. She'll also look at various probably history. She'll also cover the prospect between the differences in these technologies. Why would certain technologies take longer? Why others were able to reach 50 million users instantly or quicker than the others? Mr. Yashir Ramnarian and Samgelo Penyane will look at the emerging technologies of the future, and they will also look at the jobs of 2025, or the jobs of the future as we'll refer to them. Ms. Cembi, if you are ready, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon, ma'am.
The slide that you are showing right now.
Yes, I'm sharing the same slide that you should have, or are there any challenges?
I think I'm seeing something different on my side.
On my side, I am on what are emerging technologies. Is that everyone seeing, or it's different?
I'm still,
different.
I'm still
It's
seeing the
different,
first
it's
slide
not
from my
coming
side.
Okay, let me restart to share again and see if it's going to work. I'm sharing the window, insert entire screen. Are you seeing the slide on what are emerging technologies, Vuelo?
Yes, now it's okay.
Thank you. You can go ahead.
Okay, so I'll be explaining what emerging technologies are, but firstly, to understand what these technologies are. They are the technologies that are sometimes called disruptive technology, like Mr. Pignani just previously explained. They are called this way because of the potential of their potential to disrupt and transform the way we live, work, and the way that we play. Use this word emerging because they are the new, but they are new to us, but they are not quite ready to be mainstream just yet. There are still debates about some of these technologies because our minds are so fixed to manual labor. Most people still feel that they are here to take our jobs away, but they are just here to make our work lives easier and lighter. These technologies so why these emerging technologies? It is because these technologies play a vital role in the modernization of industries. We've seen most of them in manufacturing, like the production of Toyota systems. Before these technologies with manual labor, production was slow, but now Toyota is capable of producing about 20 vehicles in just 1 minute. This is according to a visualized research production by MoneyShakes.com. We also see this in energy. The energy consumption can be reduced exponentially when smart devices run your home, as they can detect inefficiencies and minimize waste to automatically adjust to changing energy needs. We also see this in customer service. The satisfactory service of online shopping, like your Uber Eats, your Take a Lot, your 60/60, were to list them, could list them all day. This gives the customers the luxury service and satisfaction of shopping whilst in the comfort of your own home or anywhere that you can be. We also see a mobility market, the improvement of multimodal transportation and autonomous vehicles. We can see this in Gautrain, how it has made our lives of job workers easy. They can get from point A to point quicker than before. We all love money. We all want to save it as much as we can, especially in business. That is why organizations today are always looking towards saving operational costs while reaching and servicing an increased number of customers at a time. This allows them to increase revenues and net profits. We all want that in our lives. Operating in digital spaces allows organizations to reach a larger pool of customers and other markets sitting in just one spot. On the other hand, with the increase of internet connected devices or smart devices, customers are sorry guys. Customers are always seeking for a better e-commerce customer service. It's not only about the online engagement, but it's also how the product is how the product is received or service consumed. For example, we have Uber versus Bolt. When I was in Joburg, I remember my brother used to prefer Uber than Bolt, even though Bolt was cheaper than Uber. But it was just how the service was delivered to him. The drivers did not greet him when he entered the car. So for him, that was different from the online engagement to the service that he receives. So we can just lose customers as easy as that because of the way we receive the service. We go to digital transformation. Digital transformation is the process of using digital technologies to create new, improved business processes, products, and services. Now, this digital transformation is kind of divided into two, which is digitization and digitalization. Digitalization is the process of converting information into digital format. In this format, this information is organized into discrete units of data called bits that can be separately addressed, usually in multiple bits groups called bytes. This is the binary data that computers and many devices with computing capacity, such as digital cameras, your digital hearing aids, can process. We have a few examples of this. When you are scanning a photograph to create a digital file, that is digitization. Home Affairs is in the process of practicing this, digitizing their archives. UKZN has done it. They went paperless. They converted all their paper archives into digital files. So when you're converting paper reports into a digital file, such as your PDF, your Word document, that is digitizing it. Recording a presentation or a phone call, that will be you turning physical sound into a digital file. As this webinar will be later, it will be a digital file. If it weren't for those technologies, we would all be sitting in one room right now. Digitalization now. It is the use of digital technologies to change a business model and provide a new revenue and value producing opportunities. It is the process of moving to a digital business. Like when you are analyzing data collected by internet connected devices to find new revenue streams, or using digital technology to transform your reporting processes, collecting and analyzing data in real time. Digitization and digitalization, they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand in order to transform organizations into digital enterprises, allowing for more agility and performance improvements. While digitization focuses on converting and recording data, digitalization on this hand is all about developing processes and changing workflow to improve manual systems. The person who performs all this digitalization, this whole digital transformation, that person is called a digital entrepreneur. This person is like the mastermind of digital transformation. That is someone who pursues business ventures exclusively on a digital platform. This digital entrepreneurship is the creating of business on the internet, selling services or products online without the need to invest in a physical space. That is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Trimbi, for the presentation. Sorry, the slide on my side, when I tried showing it to you, it ended up stopping there. With the permission of the House, I think if there are any engagement, Samgelo, please assist me with hands. Just raise your hand if you want to share something. But what I would take as much from the presentation is the understanding of these emerging technologies or disruptive technologies, the way that Ms. Trimbi explained them, to say, yes, from a distance, they do look disruptive. They do that. They would look as if they come with a lot of changes within your organization. But however, if you embrace their nature, they're able to make your systems in your organization to be efficient, not just organization, even in your life, to be efficient and much easier. If you look at the example that is used here about the production at Toyota, if you look at the efficiency of, for example, of the e-hailing services as a result of these emerging technologies, if you were to look at South Africa back in 2010 when we hosted the World Cup, we did not have a lot. Uber was still new, but as time goes by, the users that are able to use the e-hailing services has increased rapidly. Also, on the issue of digitization and digitalization, as a country, for those that are developers, I still think there's a lot that we still need to do in terms of our files, because most of our files that you find, especially in the public service, they still use physical papers for such. Those that have worked, I think, between, I would say, early 94 to probably 2000 or early 2000, they are aware, those that work in factories, of time cards. Time cards used to be manual, where you must clock in at work and your card needs to be stamped and so forth. But now all those things have been digitized. You no longer have to carry a physical card. You just tap your card, you leave, and the card records the time that you clocked in at work and the time that you left work. Samgelo, if there are any hands that would like to engage or share views or comments on Ms. Trimbi's presentation, please assist me, as I can't see them because I'm sharing the screen.
I will do so.
The floor is open if there are any questions, comments on the presentation on digitalization and digitization and the emerging technologies as explained and presented by Ms. Trimbi. Going once, going twice. Must I close the hands, Samgelo, or must I allow a few seconds?
We're still
We
trying
do not have any hands, but we do have a comment from Mulatedzi, who says we are too slow in South Africa. I just wonder if he has some guidance on how that can be addressed, as it's one of the issues that we are facing in the country.
Yes, I would probably like to hear from him, and I think the other attendant will also be interested to say why do you think we are too slow in terms of legislation, or we are too slow in terms of accepting or embracing these new technologies? If possible, from the person who made a comment, to probably just take 2 minutes and then just go through to explain the comments that they are making. I'm sorry, I can't see your name. Or are they having a challenge with the mic? Probably that's why they opted to chat.
Hello.
Can be read. Okay. Yeah, is
Hello.
this Mr. Malatuzi? You can go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Good afternoon, and I'm happy that you did a very nice presentation. My name is Robert Dari. I'm saying South Africa is too slow in terms of implementation of the plans. We have got all these plans, but in actual fact, in practice, we don't implement. Let me tell you, what you are talking about, drone and technology. I studied photogrammetry 30, 40 years ago, and we were using aeroplanes. And now I don't expect that I will have an aeroplane one day, but today, the same work which we used to do it when we were studying through aeroplane, today I can do it within a day using a drone. And you see, I go and fly, capture data, come and process and generate orthophoto, mosaic, you name contour maps, everything on my own independently. But I see we spend much time on talking rather than implementation. What you are saying is true, that if you don't disrupt, you get disrupted. So the disruption which we need to do now is actual implementation, rather than we talk, then we implement, we test it, we evaluate, we see the gaps, we close. Then we will be in the international arena competing with the other world. Because the drones we are talking about now, other countries are no more talking about theory. They are delivering medicines, everything, the food and agriculture. They are spraying, they are doing all these things. We are still talking about something like it is still coming, whereas it's in the market operating now. Even transport now is used by drones. They are using to fly to other places.
Thank you.
So we shouldn't talk like it is something which is still coming. We have it here. Let's use them. Let's also develop our own. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Robert, for your comment. I think you are hitting the nail on the head. We are slow, we are too conversational, and we are less on implementing, or we are afraid. One would say we are probably afraid of failing. We want to use something because we've seen it somewhere working without having tried it on our own and improved it for our own well-being. Comment well taken. To say 40 years ago to develop maps used to be very expensive, because as you are saying, you had to rely on having an helicopter, carry a huge camera, but now it's something that you can do in few hours. Samgelo, I'm not seeing any hands. If there is any last speaker that would like to comment, share views before we move to the next speaker.
There are no hands. I believe we can move.
Maybe I'm sorry, just one comment. Sorry for that, to be like I'm the one who is dominating.
Chair, I request that we proceed to the next speaker, and Mr. Robert keeps his comments. It's going to be a very interesting conversation after the next presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Just note it down, Mr. Robert. We are not cutting you off. We'll continue.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let's proceed. I will bring it after.
Thank you, Samgelo. Ladies and gentlemen, our second presenter, Ms. Bongela Msibi, will be looking at the emerging technologies that have been able to reach 50 million users. I think most of them are beyond 50 million. And the challenges thereof to reach those 50 million users. How did they cross the chasm? Why did it take them long? Why did some get to reach 50 million users quite quicker than the others? Over to you, Ms. Bongela.
Thank you so much, Chair. Good afternoon.
Sorry, Bongela.
Good afternoon,
Sorry, Bongela, just a bit. There was an audio. Someone opened their audio. Please, can we have the speaker speaking, co-host and host, please manage the audio so that we don't get multiple people speaking at the same time. Sorry, Ms. Msibi, over to you.
No problem. Thank you so much, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. As our Chair has stated, my name is Bonga Msibi, and I'm just going to speak through with you guys on some emerging technologies that most of us are currently using in today's times that have reached 50 million users. The world is changing, and so is the way that we do things. Emerging technologies are making it a lot easier than ever for us to get things done and make our lives more convenient. We have put together a list of some emerging technologies that have reached 50 million users, and they are as follows. The telephone. Until the telegraph was developed, the printing press was a big innovation in communication. Even after the telegraph, printing remained the key form of mass messaging for years. The telegraph allowed instant communication over vast distances for the first time in history. It was an Italian innovator, Antonio Muecci, who invented the first basic phone in 1849. However, it was Alexander Graham Bell who began his research in 1874 and had the financial backings to have the best business plan into bringing the telephone into the market. The telephone since then skyrocketed as businesses began to use the telephones to connect to offices and also build communications and networks with their customers. It took 75 years for the telephone to reach 50 million users, allowing two people to connect and communicate all over the world. The telephone since then has evolved. Nowadays, you can connect more than two people. We have handheld devices or cordless devices. And we also don't need to depend on dial-up network. Rather, we depend on wireless network connections. Next, we're going to look at airlines. An airline can be defined as a company that offers services for transporting passengers and or goods via air transportation globally. The first airline was the German airship company called DeLag, founded on 16 November 1909. Since then, many airlines have been built over the years in countries such as America, the United Kingdom, and even India. It took 68 years for airlines to reach 50 million users. Today, we have about over 50,000 airlines globally functioning and transporting billions of passengers and goods. We have automobiles. The first car was built between 1885 and 1886 by the late Carl Benz. In those years, cars were one of the most lavish luxuries that were only afforded by the rich. In the 62 years that it took for automobiles to reach 50 million users, other industrial developments led to immense job creation. Today, we have automatic and even self-driving cars that have been developed over the years. Since the invention of automobiles or cars, we have other modes of transportation, such as trains, we have buses, we have planes, and even mechanically engineered ships, or like our cruise ships. Next slide, please. We also looked at wearable technology. Wearable technology is a popular trend in the world of consumer electronics. These devices are often worn on the body, such as watches or fitness trackers, but they can also be embedded on clothing or even jewelry. There is some talk, or if I can say experimentation, of embedding technology into tattoos as well. An example of wearable technology embedded in clothing. I'm sure most of us, if not all of us, are familiar with one of the biggest brands in the world, Nike. Nike, in about 2013, released a sensor that you could place in their sneakers that would track and monitor your fitness and health. This sensor was first a collaboration with Apple, the iPod, where the data would be transmitted through there as well as your music. It's synced in. But then since then, Apple moved away from iPod and created the Apple Watch. and therefore the collaboration dissolved. And then Nike created their app, the Nike Fitness app, and I believe they have a specific app for the sensor. So what it does is now it syncs all the information whilst you're using the sensor actively. Then you have all your health information recorded on your phone. These devices are used for personal tracking and information gathering. The first wearable computer was created in the 1960s by mathematics professor Edward Thorpe. Over the next couple of decades, several devices popularized and modernized wearable technology. The first being the calculator wristwatch, which launched by the most remarkable and notable brand, Casio, which is the same brand that designs or creates our calculators. It was, however, the introduction of the Bluetooth headsets in 2002 that wearable technology reached 50 million users. Many well-known brands entered the wearable technology market between 2006 and 2013. In fact, it was in 2014 that it was known as the wearable technology year, as wearable devices like fitness monitors, smartwatches, Fitbit, GoPros, Google Glasses, they really emerged and dominated the market. It took about 42 years for wearable technology to reach 50 million users. We looked at social media and we decided to focus on Instagram. Instagram was interestingly first created in 2010 as a social platform called Bourbon for whiskey and bourbon lovers. However, there was a similar platform called Foursquare, and this forced the creators to rethink their platform, and therefore it became a photo sharing platform. It took 8 weeks to develop and launch on iOS, which is the Apple's operating system, on October 2010. So in the 17 months, Instagram reached 50 million users. And since then, it is one of the fastest growing technologies. And in less than 2 years, Facebook acquired the company for $1 billion in cash and stock. I'm sure that those who are active on social media have seen that when you log onto Instagram, even your, WhatsApp, you'll see the Meta logo, even on Facebook. That is the new universe, or that Facebook has created under or including Instagram and WhatsApp. Thank you. We looked at YouTube as well. It took 10 months for YouTube to actually reach 50 million users. It started in 2005 when 3 friends wanted to share a video online. They looked for video sharing sites and they didn't find any. So they decided to create their own. The first video that was uploaded was called Me at the Zoo. It's about 8 to 10, 15 seconds long. And since then, YouTube was created. YouTube is the world's third most popular online destination, because viewers, especially those of a younger demographic, can relate to the authenticity of user-generated content. In addition to their content, popular YouTubers are utilizing traditional media to build their brand. The last one we looked at, just to give you guys an idea as well, is Pokemon Go. This is an augmented reality mobile game that took the world by storm. It was initially released on the 6th of July, 2016 to the Australian, New Zealand, and US markets. It had such a high demand that the server outages and technical glitches were very common. Players found ways to connect their mobile devices to appear in countries where the game was only available. So for example, there were South Africans, when the game was not available in South Africa, they were able to change their location into countries like the US so that they were able to download the game and use it actively on their phones. It took 19 days for Pokemon Go to reach 50 million users. By July 15 of the same year, 1.3 million phones in Holland had installed the game, even though it wasn't officially released there. In just 33 days, the game had surpassed 100 million downloads on Google Play alone. With a rapid rise, unfortunately, there was a rapid fall as a lot of players began to lose interest in the game and started to lose an average of 15 million players a month. As you currently see, as we are just summarized, we've summarized 15 emerging technologies, in which 7 of them I just gave a bit of a background to the technology, how long it took for them to emerge into the public or into the market. And it is interesting to see that the telephone that was invented in the 1940s took 75 years to reach 50 million users. However, Pokemon Go, which was released in 2010, took 19 days to reach the world globally by 50 million users. So it's interesting that over time, we as society, we as the public, we as people, we grasp onto technology much quicker. And it's interesting to see where it is going to go, how the different technologies that are currently being created, invented, utilized, how we are going to hold on to it, how long it will take for the next technologies to emerge to reach 50 million users. Thank you. I'll pass it on to you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Bonga-Gamsili, for quite an informative presentation. What I would take as a big note within the presentation, or the pattern that I'm starting to see, hoping that the next presentation will give us a much more big picture, is about data. Because all these devices, these technologies that you are talking about, they all collect data, or you can collect data, and quite a lot of data. And how is that data handled? And how that data could be used, or how is that data handled by those companies that own these emerging technologies, and how they could be accessed to ensure that they keep on developing newer technologies. I think just briefly, to those that probably want to share a comment or an opinion, or probably to say what could be the major reasons to say a telephone took 75 years to reach 50 million users, while today you can develop an app, and that app could be able to have 50 million users in a couple of days. What is it that has changed in between centuries that makes consumers, us as consumers, to be much more open to these technologies than the previous centuries? Samgelo, again, please be of assistance to read the comments or questions, and to take the hands of those that would like to speak.
I think we can move to the next presentation, as it might address some questions, and then we'll allow discussions then.
There is one hand.
Please allow that one hand, and then we can move.
I cannot see it on my side.
Afternoon,
Ando.
Chair. I have my hand up.
Yes, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to comment on why the rise of these emerging technologies that we currently have. And I think a big influencer of that is the internet, having access to many different people, that it's easier for us to share information, to share these technologies, to share apps than it was 50 years ago. You know, everything is rapid in this society, everything is easier. And so popularity of such technologies, it comes quite easy. So I think the creation of the internet has connected a lot of people, making the world smaller, allowing for that interaction between people. And again, this helps emerging technologies evolve quicker, because it's onto the next one in a very quick sense.
Thank you, Ms. Tole. I think you are again hitting the nail there. Hopefully, the next speakers will get to explain the other capabilities that probably have not been tapped into, that could be tapped into the future, as they'll be taking us on the future jobs and looking at the 15 again, emerging technologies and their application in the drone economy. I will leave it to, I don't know, between Mr. Rabnarian and Mr. Peñane Jr., who's going first. But the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Mr. Kubeka said before, my name is Mr. Ramnarayan, and today I'll be going over emerging technologies of the future. Since we are a drone council, firstly, we'll be starting off with drones and unmanned aerial vehicles, also known as UAVs. Drones or UAVs are defined as powered aerial vehicle that does not carry a human operator, uses aerodynamic forces to provide vehicle lift, and can fly autonomously or be piloted remotely, and can be expendable or recoverable, and carry a lethal or non-lethal payload. Drones have changed the face of military operations, but impact doesn't just stop there. Search and rescue missions, firefighting, law enforcement, and transportation will all be transformed by the drone technology. We'll be going over more of these functions and how they affect the drone industry in the data technologies. Drones are becoming more commonplace, which makes an emerging job market. Jobs associated in the drone industry are drone technicians, who basically perform maintenance and troubleshooting tasks on drones and UAVs, which may include small drones designed to take aerial photographs or videos of difficult to reach places, or even larger drones designed to transport goods or assist with firefighting and other emergency data. Next, we'll be moving on to big data. Big data is a collection of enormous data and continues to grow exponentially with time. This type of data is so vast and complex that no traditional data management tools can store it or process it efficiently. Big data tends to refer to the use of predictive analytics, user behavior analytics, or certain other advanced analytic methods that can extract value from the large amount of data that is acquired. As more and more drones take to the sky to survey land, map neighborhoods, assess crops, and monitor traffic, they're generating enormous amounts of data. And demand for big data for commercial uses, technological advancements, and increased venture capital funding will continue to drive rapid growth in drone use. And while drones are valued for the image and footage they do collect, they're increasingly be able to store other types of information, such as radio signals, soil moisture, factory emissions, and geodetic data, which includes position measurements for land surveys. One job opportunity that arose from big data is that of a big data analyst. A big data analyst is basically an individual that reviews, analyzes, and reports on big data that is stored and maintained by an organization. And they usually specialize in analysis of data analytics. Moving on, we'll go into artificial intelligence, commonly known as AI, and machine intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a field of computer science, which makes a computer system that can mimic human intelligence. In 1969, the creation of backpropagation was a core part of AI, and it essentially allows the neural network to learn from mistakes, which basically meant that AI can be trained to perform better over time. Machine intelligence, or machine learning, is a subfield of artificial intelligence, which enables machines to learn from past data or experiences without being explicitly programmed. In 2020, during the pandemic, AI and machine learning were on the front lines against COVID-19. And researchers use AI and machine learning tools to predict the spread of the virus. Now, many of you may be thinking, how can AI help with the drone industry? AI can be used to control drones so they can fly autonomously, which means that drones can be operated without a human pilot, making them even more versatile. And drones can do this by using object recognition, where the drones uses its cameras and other sensors to identify objects and navigate around them, which is useful for avoiding obstacles and potential crashes. And as the technology continues to develop, we will likely see an increase in the number of drones flying autonomously in our skies. As AI is becoming more prevalent in our life, there's also an increase in the job opportunity for AI. One such job is that of a data scientist. Data scientists are a new breed of analytical data experts who have technical skills to solve complex problems and a curiosity to explore what problems need to be solved. They're part mathematician, part scientist, and part trend spotter. And because they straddle both the business and IT worlds, they're highly sought after and well paid. Next is 3D printing, which is the construction of a three-dimensional object from a digital 3D or CAD model, CAD meaning computer-aided design. 3D printing is used by over 10,000 companies worldwide, and is also shaking up the health industry. The COVID-19 pandemic overwhelmed hospitals and increased the need for personal protective equipment, or PPEs. Many healthcare facilities turned to 3D printing to supply their staff with the much needed PPEs, as well as parts needed to fix their ventilators. And companies all over the world now employ 3D printers to create their prototypes in a matter of hours, instead of wasting months of time and potentially millions of dollars in research and development. Drone components can be printed with 3D printers, which can drive down the cost of manufacturing and even allow for customized drones with unique designs to the user. And researchers have even developed drones that have 3D printers on them. And these drones can be used to print houses, as there's no limitation on the size of what they can print. A 3D printing engineer will be needed to carry the daily schedules for the printers. And one of their functions is basically to evaluate customer designs and ensure they're compatible with 3D printing and streamline the printing process. Next, I'll be handing on to Mr. Penyane, who will go over a few more technologies.
Thank you, Mr. Ramnarian. So that we probably don't fall asleep. Thank you for the presentation. I think there is a developing trend from the first speaker up until you about data and the issue of the future jobs. To those that are involved in the higher education and training, or those that followed the scarce skills list that was released 2 years ago. On the top of that list, I think it was in the top 3, if I recall correctly, was the jobs of data scientist. It is a new trend, and looking at each and every organization now, data scientists or data analysts are going to be quite a critical component of each and every company, as they will assist the company to make better decisions, to take efficient policies to ensure that their organization thrives or succeed. Just as a point of discussion, to the following trends that we've been seeing that have been presented by the 3 speakers. Are there any comments, suggestions, or probably conversations that listeners probably would like us to look into? But what I would like us to focus ourselves on is that with each and every emerging technology that we are seeing a need either for the previous job descriptions to change, or for people to switch careers so that they also benefit from these new technologies. Samgelo, please assist with any hands.
Okay.
Yes.
We agreed that this is not our show, it's the show of the audience before people walk away. So I will request, with your indulgence, that people who are in the house must note that we've got 15 technologies and they're all heavy stuff. We are on technology number 4 now. After the 5th one, that we pause a bit, and the homework to everyone is, when Mr. Yash talks about drones, big data, 3 AI, 4 3D printing, and 4 mixed realities, let's bring it home and say, let's stop there and say, which ones of these things are great to you? And which ones of these do you think our people understand? We're talking now in a South African context. And that is what we'll do with each one of them. The 5 by 5, we present them, and then we stop. And we speak frankly. I'm 50 plus, some people are 30 plus, and so on. But let's say in the environment where we are, do we even understand him, Mr. Ramnarain, when he says these are the future jobs? And if we think there's a problem, maybe we can go back to Mr. Roberts' question and say why. So may I request therefore that let the next speaker present number 5, then you allow us to have this presentation in 555s. And people already know the homework that I was thinking about, and we will be taking them on that homework. Thank you.
Thank you. Over to you, Samgelo.
Okay, the fifth technology, which is mixed realities, has been used in applications across fields, including design, education, entertainment, military training, healthcare, product content management, and human-in-the-loop operation of robots. Mixed reality is a term used to describe the merging of a real-world environment and a computer-generated one. Physical and virtual objects may coexist in mixed reality environments and interact in real time. It is a mix of virtual reality and augmented reality, as it includes the use of heads-up display, head-mounted display, and mobile devices. Virtual reality can be used with drones to provide an experience like no other, be it experiencing real life like videos or getting a bird's eye view from high up in the air and clicking great aerial photographs. Usage of VR and drones particularly can enhance inspections industry, where all the user has to do is put on a VR headset and use a drone to inspect the facility needed from more angles than manually possible. Mixed reality developers are in high demand, meaning that that is the future job under mixed realities, which companies desperately are hunting for qualified applicants. Mixed reality developers require a mix of skills, including excellent software programming ability, experience in video and sound production, a proficiency in game development, and strong 3D and user interface and user experience skills. That will be our 5th item. I believe that will open the floor for discussions after this one, Chair.
Thank you, Samgelo. I don't know if people got the homework from the chair. If they did, please note the hands, Samgelo, for me. People who got the homework.
I'm a good school principal. I can repeat the assignment. The question is that we read about this and we avoid paying attention. And it's just 53 of us here. We are now encouraging dialogue. The dialogue is, there's 15 technologies we'll be talking about as an intro. We'll be making a follow-up every Wednesday. So 5 have been presented. You can even, if you want, the speaker can just show you the others. Spoke about drones, spoke about big data, was the second one, big data and augmented analytics. We spoke about artificial intelligence and spoke about 3D printing and mixed reality. So I wanted reflection from the house to say, me, in the space where I'm operating, this is Greek and French and Lebanese. People cannot relate with this. Or me, where I am, we have moved, we are far advanced on this. So that we try to bring it home, because we keep on talking about this thing as if they belong to another country, as if there's a truck that will come one day and deliver them after COVID has ended. So the assignment is that. Let's talk now from whatever angle, like as a community of futurists.
Thank you, Chair.
There were 2 hands. Mr. Mkari, his hand was up. He was noted. Then the other speakers can speak after that.
Hello.
Hi, sir.
Robert that is speaking again.
Thank you, Robert.
There was Mkari and Robert, yes.
I'm no more in theory, I'm in practice. I fly drone, I generate maps, and you see all this presentation, even the ones who are coming, I'm implementing, I'm not theorizing. So what I suggest, come with theory like what we are teaching people to do, and we must come to implementation where we are doing in practice. But my worry is that we are talking about implementing using instruments like drones, which are manufactured outside of this country, whereas we were supposed to be manufacturing ours. And I have just ordered a micro SD 1 terabyte. I'm holding it here. If you want to see, I can show you with the card reader and the adapter from China. But I was supposed to have ordered it in South Africa. And I asked myself why? Because we have got all the things which make these things, but it took 3 weeks for me to get it. But in South Africa, you can't get it. If you order it, it takes more than a month. But they order in China and sell it to me. So you see the disruption you are talking about. If you want to do it, let's organize, get people who can manufacture, who can do it. Let's implement it radically. Then we will be talking business. Remember, this thing, your theory, yes, we can do theory, but if you know the people, bring them to me. Let's implement now and be radical in terms of implementation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robert.
Mr.
Mukari.
Thank you very much, facilitator of the session. Greetings to everyone in the space. Peace be unto everyone. I think Mr. Peñane sort of, anticipated that my comment was likely going to go off a bit, but I think it's important to bring up this issue of part of the reasons why we are still lagging behind, because it's a concern that has been raised right from the beginning of this seminar, is as a result of lack of skills and therefore lack of understanding and appreciation of the importance of these technologies that are being presented here. And perhaps my question is, how do we ensure that, as we engage in this revolution, we are able to bridge that gap of lack of skills, and draw in particularly young people into, learning about these, technologies in a theoretical manner, in a practical manner, but also in a manner that would be able to create opportunities for them, and how do we in that process bridge the, digital divide, the digital inequality or technological inequality, that we are here speaking about, for instance, technologies in the agriculture, but people in the rural area where agriculture should be the heart of that particular economy do not know anything about most of these technologies we're talking about. So how do we envision that we're going to have that sort of skills revolution taking place? And maybe just to make a point lastly is that in trying to propose a solution, because I'm more of a solutions-orientated person, I don't just like bringing up problems. I was part of the beneficiaries of a program called the African App Launchpad, which was, announced by the president of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, at the 2018, World Youth Forum in Egypt, and it included 22 countries. So there were 22 African countries who were going to benefit from this. So what the program did is that South Africa was part of those countries, is that they would call out for young people that have an interest in learning one or two skills, and then they were able to bring in stakeholders that offered, learning and training in these particular skills, like online platforms, such as, Cosaria, Udacity, and all these other platforms that are normally used by private companies to develop their own people, but you hardly have those if you're outside that space. And I, for instance, did, a skill in data science with R, which has played a very crucial role, for instance, in me developing my business. So that is the practical input, and that thing was for free. So perhaps as we think about this, can't we think about a way where we can bring in stakeholders and say, look, let's look at how we revolutionize education as part and puzzle of also using these technologies, but expanding them. And then programs.
Sorry, Mr. Sure. I have a solution for all of us before people leave. We've
Okay.
got we've got drone Wednesdays. Yourself and Mr. Robert, we are speaking next week Wednesday at 2 o'clock. So prepare this case study properly for next week Wednesday, 2 o'clock. And Mr. Robert must brag. You will give him all hosting rights. He'll brag about all his technologies and we'll move forward. Today is just a start. We'll be having drone Wednesday, emerging technology Wednesdays until mid-December. So I'm not cutting you. I'm saying we're taking your challenge. Bring it on next Wednesday, 2 o'clock.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you. So prepare properly, the two of you. Can you, Ms. Zuzile Zungu, you were saying something about technology in the optometry industry. Please go ahead.
Sorry, Chair, I'm not in a position of speaking, hence I
Go ahead.
noted my
Just say
concern.
what, okay, let me read your concern. Your concern says, in my industry, which is in optometry, I just saw that there's new printing technology for optical frames and lenses. I have no idea what this is. Of course, there's digital printing. You can even print a drone. Now using 3D printing, you can print optical frames and lenses using 3D printing. That's why I'm saying, can we confess our sins and say, I don't know what are all these things that they're confusing us about? Can you get the last person so that we can take the next 5 in the interest of time?
Is there a last speaker? Those that can see the people in attendance, Samgelo?
There is none at the moment, Mr. Kupera.
May they proceed, then we will take the next round.
Chair.
Yes,
Chair of Chairs.
Hello.
Thank you. We'll move to the next 5. Again, between Mr. Ramnarian and Mr. Samgelo, you can continue. I think Samgelo, the floor is yours.
It's actually me, and I'll try not to make this too boring. So next we'll be moving on to computer vision, which is basically a field of AI that allows computers to get meaningful information from like your pictures, any videos, or any other visual inputs, okay, and take actions to make recommendations based on information. So from what I explained earlier, AI basically allows computers to think, and computer vision is basically in the eyes that allows them to see and understand. Computer vision is used in industries from energy to manufacturing, automotive, and even the drone industry. Previously, I mentioned how AI can use object detection. The part that does object detection is computer vision. So it enables drones to capture and identify obstacles in real time and dodge possible collisions. And emerging future job for this is a computer vision engineer, also known as a machine vision engineer. And it is a highly special computer science or any other IT-related field, and a knowledge of C++, which is a programming language. And the overall concept of a computer vision engineer is basically to make sure a machine or computer can see as a human being can, and to create programs that can not only see visual information but also interpret it. Previously, I think it was Mr. CB that went over wearable technologies. I'll just be adding on to that how drones can add on to it. So moving on to wearable technologies, which was, it's basically any technology that's designed to be used by this one. And common types of wearable technologies, including smart watches and smart glasses. Wearable electronic devices are often used close to the skin, where they detect, analyze, and transmit information, such as vital signs or ambient data, which allows for immediate biofeedback to the user. Smart glasses have a high resolution transparent display, which basically enables drone pilots to see or capture photos or videos while being able to switch their attention from the viewing feed on their tablet or smartphone. So one glass lens displays the first person view feed of the drone that doesn't obstruct the pilot, and from the other eye, you can keep the drone in sight and stay out of trouble, since the wearable allows the operator to maintain direct line of sight with the drone. And smart glasses are light, compact, and also comfortable, even if they have to be worn for a long period of time. With the prevalence of wearable technology on the rise, there are a wealth of job opportunities in this market, and jobs may be creating a concept for a new device, maybe developing design for smartwatch, or compiling data surrounding sales and target demographics. And most positions in the wearable industry would require you to work with various forms of software and to develop app integration for user-friendly features. Going on to new energy solutions, which basically refers to green energy. And green energy, as most of you here would know, it would use to indicate or includes solar, wind, hydro, geothermal, biogas, or biomass. So basically renewable energy sources, rather than carbon-heavy sources such as coal or natural gas. And green energy is created with zero carbon emission, proving the highest net environmental benefits. And with the growth of wind power, drones are being used to scan wind turbines for defects and damages. Because wind turbine repairs can be expensive, and you are losing money while you're repairing because they won't be in use, early inspection and analysis are very important. So that's where drones come in. Solar panels, drones allow for quick and cost-effective monitoring and inspections of solar farms, which means that operations and maintenance are minimally interrupted, similar to the wind turbines, and therefore increasing performance and profits. And using drones to examine solar farm panels become widespread due to the variety of remote inspecting and surveillance capabilities. The solar power industry is booming. It's a smart time to take the advantage of the job opportunities and abundant sunshine and become a solar energy technician. These technicians, also called solar technicians or solar panel installers, assemble, install, and maintain solar panels on homes, businesses, or even open land. And these solar technicians install photovoltaic solar panels, or commonly known as PV panels, which convert sunshine into energy. Okay. Another promising big new trend is IoT, which is basically a broader field of intelligent spaces. Many things nowadays are being built via connectivity. I think it was mentioned before, you even have like fridges, light bulbs, curtains, that all are being connected to the internet. So the Internet of Things is the future, and already enable devices to be much more connected and exchange data over the internet. IoT can enable better safety, efficiency, and decision-making for businesses as data is collected and analyzed. It can enable predictive maintenance, speed up medical care, improve customer service, and even other benefits we haven't even begun of thinking about as yet. In an IoT setting, how can drones be used? Drones could act as a mobile sensor to gather data and relay it back to a cloud application or some other analytic services. An example is a drone that can check on the physical condition of tower-based sensors. Similar to the wind turbines, there are drones to view the status of IoT towers and IT connected gear, therefore eliminating the need for potentially dangerous inspections. And many IoT devices have embedded systems on them, which will require a new job, an embedded systems or software engineer, which basically helps design, develop, and maintain embedded systems in IoT products. And the role often includes software development, but also requires a knowledge of entire embedded systems. And our last point of the next break is facial recognition. Next slide, please. Thank you. So facial recognition. I think most of our phones do have facial recognition, and it's basically a technology capable of matching a human face from a digital photo or video or even live against a database of faces or a saved face. And such system is typically employed to authenticate users through ID verification services, such as your phone unlock screen, for example. And it works by pinpointing and measuring facial features from a given image. As I mentioned before, they are used by phones nowadays, but they can also be used by governments and other private companies. However, the use of facial recognition has raised controversy with claims that the system violates citizens' privacy, and it can also commonly make incorrect identifications, encourage gender norms or racial profiles, and do not protect important biometric data. However, current face recognition technologies are capable of recognizing faces on drones with some limited distance and angles, especially from high altitudes. We also find that augmenting face models with 3D information may help boost recognition. So even if the drone is high up, if you can get a clear enough line of sight, it can identify a person with large angles of detection. So job opportunities associated with facial recognition is the same as AI, which is data scientists. And this is mainly because facial recognition software uses algorithms, AI algorithms, which compute large amounts of calculations and data. And yeah, that's me. Next is, I think, Mr. Kubeka.
Thank you, Mr. Ramnarian. In continuing with the discussion, just to continue from the previous speakers that have made comments, I would probably like to hear from the House their view on, while we are talking about these emerging technologies, to those that are currently involved, like Mr. Robert, Mr. Mkara made a good reference to say a training that he had enabled him to operate his business efficiently. How do we ensure as a country, as individuals, that we open doors for young people to be able to want to be informed that there are such technologies with such capabilities, and for them to take opportunities within this emerging technology? That's one. Two, with our current education system, does it really do justice to young people, or not just young people, to any person, to educate them or to inform them about these emerging technologies? And also, does it train them to be entrepreneurs within these emerging technologies, or it only trains them to be employees of certain companies or certain organizations? I'll hand it over to the House to share their views.
Thank you very much. Robert Dari speaking.
Yes, sir.
My thinking is that we are trained to be employees and consumers rather than to people who generate or who manufacture such things. Now, education here, which we have generally, 90% of people who are educated are not educated per se. They are trained to be employees and submissive to the employers. So we need to radically, like you indicated, that we have to radically face these things, to say, change the education type of, to align with the people who can create and make things to happen rather than to think about being employed. Now, in terms of that, you need to create or to introduce a type of education from down level up to university level, so that we can produce people who will manufacture and who will be able to use, because we don't have the same capability in terms of our brains. You see, all these presentations you did here, they are very good. You need to put them together, because out of that, they've got this profession to say, if you want to follow this profession, this is how you do it. Some will be users, some will be manufacturing, some will be repairing, some will be creating something. Now, those in the education, maybe if they are here, they should go and get people from outside if we don't have them in the country. You don't have to go and start to build another institution. You just go and get people and get spaces where you implement that type of or institutions. Either they are technical, but also take people who are already in the system. Let me give you like a mechanics, because that is something which people can see on the ground, because this technology you are talking, there are very few people. If they are Africans, there are very few. Lucky enough, I'm disruptive. That's why I'm disrupting the system now. It's just unfortunate I can't disrupt in manufacturing, but in making those three-dimensional mosaic, you see, you talk about digitization. I do it myself behind the computer on my own without assistance of anybody. So what we need to do, we need to identify people who can do those. I think you might be in the right place. Then we bring them in this country. We identify areas in all provinces where we need to establish that. In 4 years, we will be talking different language.
Thank you, Mr. Mulatidze. You are already making your presentation of next week, Wednesday, 2 o'clock. And we will urge that you do not tempt us to respond to you, because there are other hands that are up. We're having a side discussion here. We don't like keeping people for a long time, otherwise they will not come back again. We've got this Emerging Technology Wednesdays, called them Drone Wednesdays, but this month we're focusing on drone technologies, at least until the 7th of December. Reason being, we started, November is Aviation History Month, and the 7th of December is International Civil Aviation Day. So I wanted to link the two to say, how did we come here as the Drone Council over the past 100 years? Drones are more than 110 years old, and yet they are still regarded as emerging technology. There is a reason, because they started in the army for the past 100 years and they're only being deployed to us mere mortals in the past 15 to 20 years.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. You're disrupting me now, and I'm talking to the house. You will speak next week. So I've noted, Ms. Xoli Sofanati, for us to be able to have a lively debate and it do not take too long, it will depend on how you respond now. The 5 technologies that were put to us were computer vision, wearables, new energy solution, facial recognition, and IoT. I will repeat. It was IoT, facial recognition, new energy solutions, wearables, and computer vision. Again, like the previous ones, we're asking a simple question. Who, when they look at this and say, this is both Greek and Lebanese to me, I do not understand. Or those who say, I live these things every day, and I would love to share my experiences either today or next week, Tuesday. That will be that is a question about Wednesday. Our lived experiences. Sorry, next Wednesday, 2 o'clock. I would love to share my lived experiences next week. We'll give you a platform. So let's pass that one first. I've noted 2 people, Ms. Xoli Someko, who's one of our colleagues here. She's doing a PhD in the drone space. She'll speak now, but as a member of the audience. By the way, I forgot, maybe as part of helping. Mr. Robert, you are raising all correct things, but the Drone Council has got 10 chambers. All the things that you're talking about belong to any of those chambers. Please join the council, the Drone Council, when we finish here today, and we will talk offline. We'll be speaking as part of the family. We are engaging with all of those issues, but we're not dealing with the other technologies, all of them, but we're talking to the linkages. So that is, the first one will be Ms. Xoli Someko. The second person is Ms. Cindy Zohadebe. She has written on the chats very interesting comments. I would like those 2 ladies to engage with us. It has been just guys talking. First, Ms. Xoli Someko, then Ms. Cindy Zohadebe. You pour out, and we will then decide whether we're taking the next batch or we will postpone it to next Wednesday, 2 o'clock. Ms. Meko, Ms. Khadebe.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to be brief, and really my comment was to add on what Robert was saying about the education system and really share my experience. I was a robotics and coding teacher at Tembisa, and really, I think there is a lot of work that needs to be done, particularly, in townships. I have no experience with small LC schools, but with the townships, I think it is sad. It is sad because I had to start teaching those kids just to touch the computer. I was there for coding and robotics, but it had to take me 4 weeks just to introduce them to a basic PC and the operations, of a PC. So I think our education system really, that's the one area that we really need to look into, because those are, that's the future generation. And I think we need to look at different interventions for different levels. There's the education system that is the high schools, and then we also talk about your tertiary education as well. So there are also gaps that we perhaps can look into there. I've been in the IT industry for 20 years. So all these technologies that have been presented here, I'm familiar with. I live this on almost daily basis. So yeah, for me, it was really to add on what, as it Mr. Robert had said,
Yes.
we need to change the mindset and really move from being consumers, and become, we need to start producing stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Ms. Khatebe.
Thank you, Sir Khatebe.
Good day, everyone.
Okay.
I'm also adding on to what the speakers have said. I think already South Africa is being disrupted by technology. And with what I'm seeing, I think politics and the rulers, those who regulate all the rules, they're the one who are oppressing us as youth not to be tech savvy. So I am familiar with what is being presented, but like when you go to the city and then you come back to your township and then you have to now network with your peers, your friends. Like when you speak, that is foreign to them because all the opportunities are centered to the cities. So coming back to townships, people they are not empowered, and also I'm foreseeing that might be the same case with rural areas. So, and we can't just say that people need to be educated at high school level or tertiary level. These things need to be fostered to kids who are also at kindergarten, like those who are at daycare centers. Like instead of them, like being taught the way we were, like they need to be familiarized with AIs, go to excursions, maybe like excursions where they can actually feel and see what is a robot, you see. So I feel like education also, it's a problem, it's a challenge in this country. And going forward, I'm also skeptical because I'm hearing that we need to have smart cities. What smart cities cannot happen with these load shedding things that are already the load shedding schedule that we need to accept. So I feel like as Drone Council South Africa engage more with the government to allow the public, the society to be able to absorb this technology, because you guys already mentioned that it is now easier for us to consume information because there's internet. So everything is within us. We just need people who will be able to speak the right language, and for everything to be implemented. And thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cindy Swatebe. I think it would also be valuable in our probably next discussions to probably do get someone from Department of Science and Technology, and someone from the Ministry of Technology within our government. I think what you are also talking about, especially on government policies, some of these systems you might find that you actually do want to implement them, but when you go and look at our regulations and policies, they've got a lot of red tape that you must cut across just before you could fly a drone, for example, you'll wait some time. So those are conversations I think we should be having, and the Drone Council is also having behind closed doors. But it will be very, very nice for us. We'll try to get a speaker probably from government to hear from their side. Chair, can I take, if there are no further hands, can I take it back to you?
Okay. We do not like having long webinars. The experiences of lockdown have shown that we start to be saturated at about 90 minutes. And it's nice, then you can come again. Otherwise, if we hold you for a long time, you will not come again. We have a date, drone technology Wednesdays, but the first 2 weeks were starting about context, as they say, context matters. We were supposed to discuss the next 5 technologies. I am trying to take a vote here to say, let us stop now and where we are. And next week, when we discuss at 2 o'clock, we are not discussing the other. First, Ms. Vuyelwa Cembi laid the floor. He told us about digitalization and digitization after it just spoken broadly. Ms. Msibi told us about the 15 technologies that have passed the 50 million mark, and she brought it home, and we had a discussion on that one slide. And then the past 2 speakers were taking us on the future, the technologies of 2025. Where we have not done justice, all of us sitting here, is a discussion about, out of the 50 technologies of 2025, here are the 15, just the 15, that we engage about. The next question that we'll be discussing next week is that, based on the following statistics, which ones of these 15 do we think will have early adoption in South Africa? Because some technologies could be there. If there was no load shedding, solar technology would have taken forever. It's been a technology that has been there for years, but it has only been triggered by load shedding that it is picking up. If you go to Uganda, I mean, I went to Uganda early 2000s, because they had load shedding as their way of life, so everyone has got solar technology. So we were requesting here from the facilitation that we will meet next week, Wednesday at 2 o'clock on the same platform. We will advertise again, but the focus will be different. We'll just be discussing the 15 technologies and go deeper. It's about jobs of 2025. Ask the question, Ms. Cindy Swakatebe. You look like a pilot, unless I'm wrong. Are you a pilot, Ms. Fatebe?
I am a drone pilot and an RMT
I can see
license
that.
holder.
I could see that from the uniform that you look at. So we're asking the question that as we build these drone futures, they are not going to live in the island. They will be living around 3D, for an example. Mr. Robert, what is the name again? I can't see it now here. Mr. Robert was talking about, why are we not producing this thing here? By the way, one of the projects that we have, a colleague could have bought a drone for a lot of money. He needed, Mr. Little tells the story, we were with him in one university. In fact, they simply printed the drone, and through 3D printing, he saved hundreds of thousands of rands. So we are trying to put the connections, but let us discuss all the technologies interchangeably and say, as we build drone futures, here are the other cousins and stepbrother and stepsons and half-brothers and fathers-in-law that are all related to these drone technologies. So unless there's a strong violent objection, we have a dated again next Wednesday, 2 o'clock, to go deeper to the last part. We won't focus on the first part, and we'll make comparisons and look at statistics and debate. May people who want to share their experiences, I'm looking at people that have spoken here, like Mr. Lizakadebe has real experiences, Mr. Robert, Ms. Tuli Someko, Ms. Kifense Mukari, and others. And then we'll get also other speakers just to have this conversation. Then the third one, we will be focused on just drones, and the fifth, and drones can be employed in more than 50 industries. We do not have time to take 50 industries. We'll take them just 10 industries at a time. The top 10 that we think South Africa will succeed in. We'll deal with those drones in agriculture, drones in manufacturing, not manufacturing of drones, drones in manufacturing, drones in stock taking and retail, drones in security, drones in mining, drones in energy, etc., etc. So we'll take those and bit by bit until we must be guided by you. An email address, go to the chat. There's an email address there that goes to our secretariat. If you want to propose a topic about on the drone economy and you've got a speaker that you have in mind, we are very open. The Drone Council is a public organization. And when I say public, it's a NPO. Any one of you is in the room can join the Drone Council. You can go to that website. These conversations, we'll be carrying them for the next year. We just feel that the past 2 years we've been talking difficult stuff to ourselves. These 20 interns, they will tell you their stories. Maybe as part of closing, we will do two things. I'll allow Mr. Ledley, who has been leading this, just to talk about our experiences about these technologies in universities. Mr. Ledley will speak, but before him, I will ask Mr. Who should speak? Ms. Bongeka Msibi to talk about their experiences as interns. They came dry, not even knowing what a drone is. But in the past 6 months, they could share with you what they have, what the Drone Council has done for them. And we're saying we're inviting anyone to come to the Drone Council, bring your skills, bring your tabula rasa, then we will engage. You will be a different person in 6 months' time, and we will also be different people. Can I get Ms. Bongeka Msibi just to share the experiences in the past 6 months? And then Mr. Lately will talk about what you are finding to be a knowledge gap in the drone industry and universities and TVETs. Then we'll close it at that and meet next week at 2 o'clock, or next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Ms. Msibi, Mr. Lately.
Thank you, Chair. So I'm one of the interns of the Drone Council, and basically just speaking on behalf of my colleagues, our experience has been quite extreme, if I could say, in a positive way. I think quite a few of us came into this internship not knowing much about drones or anything about drones except the more commercial flying because it has a camera and you're just having fun with it. But we have had a good experience in being challenged to learn about drones and what they can do for the different industries and sectors in South Africa. We have had assignments and presentations where we looked up the different ROCs in South Africa, how many are currently still running. Some had closed some years ago, and also how many are Black owned as well. We have looked at aviation language. We have looked at, the comparison between what drones are being done in other parts of the world, and then what are they being done in South Africa. We looked at different regulations in South Africa, what, how we can maybe move forward and grow from it. Especially looking at what drones can do for small businesses as well. It's not just the big companies that will benefit from drone technology, but even small SMMEs can benefit from drone technology. And also the role that we play as interns moving forward after this internship, what are the opportunities that lie ahead? We've had also just done some business ideas, incubation ideas as well, as to bringing the drone economy to the forefront of the discussion that happened now of educating people about drone technology, the drone economy as a whole, what opportunities may be there for them and how we can help and assist in bringing that to the public of South Africa. I will end it there. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Ledley. Okay. If Mr. Lately has...
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Chair?
Yes.
Yes, I'd just like to thank everyone for a very invigorating discussion. I think some very important points were raised, and we can get into them on more of an in-depth basis. the number of points that I really feel will be important to address in the future is with regards to the manufacturing. There is a regulation gap to allow people, because you can build your own drone as a toy, but to turn it into a tool, there's a lack of regulations, which we are looking into as the Drone Council. All inputs are welcome, so we can enable people to get accredited. And then secondly, one aspect of the drone that we're really trying to use is to, once we've finished with the varsities, bring it down into the high schools and use it as leverage to show the students what doing real maths, not maths literacy, what fields it opens up, and fuel their dreams and show them what can be done. So I'm really looking forward to further in-depth discussions, and we are making a difference. We just can't quite go public with what we're doing just yet. We're just trying to cross the I's and dot the T's. But yes, we'll see you on Wednesdays, and you'll get the up-to-date information shortly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, colleagues. We will, if you have not received an invitation or have not seen it, just go to the link that you're having today. 5 to 2, just log on. We'll be here 2 o'clock next Wednesday and the other Wednesday and the other Wednesday until mid-December. And let's stop running away from knowledge. Let's have the debates. Everyone is welcome. Thank you very, very, very much, colleagues. We are this digital revolution class is adjourned. Let's meet in the class of digital revolutionaries next Wednesday, 2 o'clock. Thank you very much for coming. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Chair. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Chair. Bye.
Thank you, Chair. Bye.